Across the endless African savanna, where the sun burns fiercely overhead and dust swirls across the open plains, life unfolds according to the harsh rhythm of survival. In this scorching landscape, true silence does not exist. Every shadow may hide danger, and the slightest movement can expose a predator waiting patiently. Here, survival is never passive. Every creature must struggle to endure. Under this unforgiving sky, the distance between life and death can be measured in a single breath. A brief moment of hesitation is often enough to lose everything. The savanna shows no mercy and offers no second chances. Only those able to react with extreme speed and precision can survive in a world without shelter or forgiveness. This land belongs to the masters of speed predators that have turned motion into their deadliest advantage. Their bodies are shaped for pursuit, their senses sharpened to detect the faintest sign of weakness. In mere seconds, calm transforms into a burst of power and accuracy, where every stride can decide the fate of both hunter and prey. Yet in the African savanna, no ruler reigns forever. Every hunt is a risk, every attack a calculated gamble. Within this brutal yet captivating cycle, nature reveals a powerful truth. Survival depends not only on strength, but on the ability to strike at precisely the right moment. Across the vast dry plains of the savanna, Thompson's gazelles, small yet resilient warriors, are born equipped for speed. With slender bodies weighing only between 15 and 35 kilograms, they move across the landscape like living arrows. Their long, powerful legs are the result of millions of years of evolution. Shaped by one simple truth: speed is their greatest defense and the key to survival. During the dry season, their light brown coats marked with bold black stripes along the sides help them blend seamlessly into the dusty surroundings. But when water becomes scarce and every remaining pool turns into a lifeline, camouflage alone is no longer enough. Drought strips away more than moisture; it removes any sense of safety. The last water holes draw all animals together, prey and predator alike, and for Thompson's gazelles, a drink of water can mean facing deadly danger. A herd of around 20 gazelles approaches a small pond with extreme caution. The lead animal steps forward first, ears raised and senses fully alert, while the rest remain tightly grouped, ready to flee at the first sign of threat. No matter how vigilant they are, coming this close to water is always a gamble with life itself. Hidden within the nearby vegetation, a lioness watches in silence. Lions may not outrun gazelles over long distances, but they compensate with strength, patience, and strategy. Lionesses, the primary hunters of the pride, move with remarkable stealth, making no sound as their focused golden eyes lock onto a target. Their power is overwhelming. A perfectly timed leap and a crushing bite are often enough to end the struggle. As one gazelle strays slightly too close to the water's edge, the decisive moment arrives. The lioness bursts from the bushes like a flash of lightning. Silence shatters into the thunder of hooves and heavy breaths. In seconds, everything is decided by speed and instinct. The herd scatters in all directions, a deliberate tactic meant to confuse the predator. This is more than a chase, it is a battle of intelligence. Capable of reaching speeds of up to 80 kilometers per hour, Thompson's gazelles outrun even the fastest human on Earth. Their agility is just as remarkable, with sudden changes in direction that challenge even the most experienced hunters. But the lioness has made her choice, a young gazelle, still not fast enough to match the adults. Driven by instinct, the youngster runs with all its strength, but the relentless heat takes its toll. At its top speed, the effort is not enough. The lioness closes the gap rapidly. One final precise leap claw's grip. The gazelle falls, and a final bite brings the chase to an end. Time is also an enemy for the lions. They can only maintain top speed for a few seconds before exhaustion sets in. For them, a successful hunt is not just a meal, it is survival itself. Failure can mean days of hunger beneath the unforgiving sun, There is no mourning in the savannah. The rest of the herd has already fled, leaving the lioness alone with her prey. Each year during the Great Migration, hundreds of thousands of wildebeest and tens of thousands of zebras perish from thirst, exhaustion, or predation. For the lion, this is victory. For the savannah, it is natural law. This is not cruelty, but balance, where one life continues only through the end of another. Exhausted, the lioness rests after the hunt. In the distance, the silhouettes of Thompson's gazelles remain visible. They watch, they learn. There is no time for grief, only lessons that may ensure survival for one more day. On the savannah, every gazelle runs not only for its own life, but for the safety of the herd and the promise of another sunrise. Unlike the small and agile Thompson's gazelles, wildebeest rely on strength in numbers. Their survival strategy is built around unity rather than silence or solitude. They move as a powerful mass, almost like a marching army. Hundreds, sometimes thousands, advance together, dark eyes fixed on the distant horizon. Each heavy step strikes the dry ground, sending vibrations across the open savannah. The blue wildebeest is one of the largest and most numerous animals in this ecosystem. An adult can weigh up to 270 kilograms and measure well over 2 meters in length. Its gray-brown coat, crossed with dark stripes, helps it blend into the landscape, though its sheer size also makes it an obvious target. Its curved, hardened horns serve a dual purpose, defending against predators and establishing dominance within the herd. During the dry season, wildebeest rarely pause. They travel across sun-scorched grasslands where heat shimmers above the earth. Strong legs and durable hooves allow them to cover vast distances each day in search of the most precious resource of all, water. Living in large herds is not accidental. It is a vital adaptation. Alone, a single wildebeest is vulnerable. Together, thousands form a moving barrier that few predators can easily break. The strongest adults position themselves along the outer edges of the herd, forming a protective shield, while calves and weaker individuals remain safely in the center. This collective structure is essential for enduring drought and lowering the risk of attack. When danger appears, hundreds of alert eyes respond instantly. Cooperation and individual sacrifice reflect one of nature's harshest rules. Survival here depends on the group. Breaking through a wildebeest herd is no simple task. Their horns are always ready to confront a threat. And when cornered, their combined strength can even force a lion to retreat. Wildebeest often graze alongside zebras, creating mixed herds that improve early detection of predators. They also pay close attention to warning signals from other species such as baboons, whose alarm calls can reveal danger nearby. Zebras play a crucial role in this shared defense. Research shows that their exceptional eyesight allows them to spot lions from more than 2 kilometers away. Once a threat is detected, alarm signals spread quickly, and the entire group shifts into a defensive formation. Even so, wildebeest remain common prey for lions, hyenas, and African wild dogs. Each predator hunts differently. Lions rely on explosive power, while hyenas and wild dogs depend on endurance. Chases between wild dogs and wildebeest are a regular sight in these arid lands. Long pursuits that kick up clouds of dust until exhaustion overtakes the prey. Hot winds sweep across the savanna, a reminder that despite their numbers, even the wildebeest are never entirely beyond the reach of danger. Spotted hyenas are among the most feared predators of the savanna. Clever, bold, and relentless. They compete directly with lions for control of prey. Their jaws deliver one of the most powerful bites in the animal kingdom, strong enough to crush bone with ease. Yet their true strength lies not only in raw power, but in teamwork, coordination, and collective intelligence. Concealed among dry bushes near a shrinking water hole, a group of hyenas watches a wildebeest herd from a distance. An adult female, the dominant leader, lowers her head and bares her teeth with a quiet growl. Hyenas do not hunt out of cruelty, but necessity. A vulnerable calf means food and the chance to survive a few more days in a harsh land. But this time, they overlook a crucial law of the savanna wildebeest: never face danger alone. Like a sudden charge, the hyenas burst from cover. Their calls tear through the air, spreading panic across the herd. The response is immediate. Adult wildebeest surge forward and reorganize, forming a defensive ring around the calves. The chase begins. The hyena leader locks onto a single target, a young wildebeest struggling to break free. With legs still unsteady, the calf runs at full effort. But the dry, hardened ground drains its strength. More hyenas join the assault, attempting to breach the living shield. The herd holds firm. A powerful adult male lowers his curved, sharpened horns and charges straight at the leader. His roar echoes across the plains. In seconds, other adults join the counterattack, forcing the predators backward. The determination and collective strength of the herd give the hyenas pause. Dust rises thick in the air, heavy and blinding. Growls and bellows collide in a tense standoff where survival hangs in the balance. The outcome remains uncertain, and for a moment the savannah seems to hold its breath. Yet amid the chaos, one truth stands out: strength does not belong to the individual alone, but to unity. This shared resilience is nature's greatest gift to the wildebeest, the instinct to protect one another, to endure, and to keep the cycle of life in motion. The ending is never guaranteed, because on the savannah, every conclusion is only another chapter in the endless struggle to survive. Wildebeest do not abandon their own. In this dry and unforgiving land, they keep the spark of life alive. And while the savannah is often defined by explosive chases and violent encounters, sometimes it is the stillness, the tense calm before movement that determines the invisible line between life and death. Within the stillness of dense thickets, the greater kudu follows a different path to survival. Unlike the lightning-fast Thompson's gazelle or the powerful Nude herd-dependent wildebeest, the kudu does not rely on extreme speed or group protection. Its strategy is subtler: remain hidden, stay motionless, and fade from danger's view. Among antelopes, the kudu is a true master of camouflage and discretion. This graceful herbivore is known for its impressive presence. Adult males carry long, spiral-shaped horns that can reach up to 1.8 meters in length, symbols of strength and quiet authority. Its gray-brown coat, marked with thin white stripes along the body, breaks up its outline and allows it to blend seamlessly with dry shrubs and shadowed terrain. At first glance, it can appear to be part of the landscape itself. One of the kudu's greatest advantages is its hearing. Large, sensitive ears act like finely tuned sensors, detecting even the faintest sound, the snap of a twig or the careful movement of a predator through the brush. Despite weighing more than 300 kilograms, the kudu is remarkably agile, capable of clearing obstacles over 2.5 meters high. This is not about raw speed, but precision. Every movement is deliberate, conserving energy and avoiding unnecessary attention. During the dry season, when the savanna seems scorched and lifeless, kudus avoid large herds and major water sources. They know such places attract predators. Instead, they retreat into dense areas that many other herbivores avoid, feeding on high leaves and tree shoots. They extract the moisture they need to survive. Their long, flexible necks allow them to reach food beyond the grasp of many other species. On a sweltering afternoon, a greater kudu feeds beneath the shade of a tree. Everything appears calm, but calm does not mean safety. Hidden among the branches nearby, a leopard watches closely. With its muscular build, low profile, and exceptional climbing ability, it is a perfectly adapted hunter for this environment. Every step forward is silent, controlled, and nearly invisible. Suddenly, a faint sound breaks the silence. The kudu's ears snap upright, rotating toward the source. Dark eyes scan the surrounding brush. It does not flee. It does not move. It waits, assessing the threat. The leopard realizes it has been detected. The distance is still manageable, but hesitation could mean failure. With a sudden burst of power, the leopard launches from its elevated position. In the same instant, the kudu reacts with flawless timing. A powerful leap carries it deep into the thick vegetation. Though agile, the leopard cannot match the kudu's skill in confined terrain. While not as fast as a Thompson's gazelle, the kudu can reach speeds of up to 70 kilometers per hour over short distances. It weaves through bushes and uneven ground, using the landscape itself to confuse its pursuer. The chase lasts only minutes, but it is enough to exhaust the leopard. The kudu has relied on an ancient tactic, turning terrain and cover into allies. This time, luck is on its side. The species' escape success is lower than that of faster antelopes, and while kudus perform best in rocky or sloped areas, they remain vulnerable in open plains. On On the savanna, speed and strength do not always decide the outcome. Sometimes, silence, patience, and the ability to merge with the environment are the most powerful tools of all. Nature has given each species a different gift. For the greater kudu, that gift is calm awareness, quiet intelligence, and the remarkable ability to vanish in a world as beautiful as it is unforgiving. As the sun sinks low and paints the horizon in warm shades of gold, the kudu fades quietly into the trees, remaining faithful to its strategy of silence and discretion. Not far away, a leopard lies motionless on a high branch, eyes glowing in the growing twilight. A failed hunt has left it hungry once more. During the dry season, prey becomes scarce, forcing the leopard to take risks it would normally avoid. Night settles in, and smaller creatures hurry to find shelter. Darkness offers cover not only to this hungry leopard, but to every predator on the savanna. Even with danger close at hand, no animal can ignore thirst or hunger. Cooler temperatures draw many species from hiding, driven to search for the last patches of grass and food. In the distance, a herd of wildebeest rests while a small group of Thompson's gazelles grazes on the sparse vegetation. For the leopard, it is an opportunity. For the antelopes, it is yet another trial imposed by the dry season. They are survivors, but they are also essential threads in the fabric of the ecosystem. Antelopes, in all their remarkable diversity, are among the most abundant animals on the savanna and play a critical role in maintaining ecological balance. From the lightning-fast Thompson's gazelle, to the massive herds of wildebeest, to the elusive kudu, all are common prey for lions, leopards, and hyenas. Within the food chain, antelopes occupy a vital middle ground, converting plant energy into sustenance for the great predators. When an antelope falls, it does not feed just one hunter. Hyenas and scavenging birds, such as vultures, also benefit. The loss of a single life is not meaningless. It fuels the ongoing cycle that keeps the savanna alive. In nature, every ending supports a new beginning. Yet antelopes do not surrender easily. Constantly alert, they rely on cooperation to survive. At the slightest hint of danger, ears rise and eyes scan the brush. A barely audible sound can trigger an alarm. A sharp snort cuts through the air, and grazing stops instantly. Guided by collective instinct, the wildebeest respond, and the herd begins to move away from the threat. On the savanna, survival is never a solitary effort. Protection comes not only from individual strength, but from the response of the group. Meanwhile, the leopard remains perfectly still, patient in the way only experienced hunters can be. It waits for a mistake, and then it happens. A young antelope, distracted while feeding, drifts too far from the others. The moment arrives without warning. The leopard glides forward in silence, then explodes into motion. In a single leap, the distance disappears. Claws brush the prey, but an alarm cry rings out and the herd scatters in chaotic flight. Not all escape with equal fortune. During the dry season, every animal is part of a vast web of life. Lions, leopards, and hyenas, powerful as they are, depend on antelopes for survival. But antelopes also depend on predators. Hunters regulate herbivore numbers, preventing the land from being stripped of vegetation. Without them, the savanna itself would be at risk. This is the cycle that governs the savanna. Every species plays an irreplaceable role. Night falls slowly, but life does not pause. A distant lion's roar breaks the silence as predator shadows glide through the darkness. The savanna, harsh and unforgiving, is not only a place of struggle, but a powerful example of interdependence. within this fragile balance, antelopes, seemingly delicate yet remarkably resilient, continue to write their story. Day after day. Across the rolling seas of grass, one remarkable figure reigns: the ostrich, a ruler that needs no flight to command its realm. This colossal bird of the African plains never takes to the sky, yet finds its freedom close to the earth, driven by the sheer power and speed of its long legs. In these dry lands, no one can match them. Here, true strength rises directly from the ground. When this giant begins to run, each stride sends tremors through the soil, lifting clouds of dust that shimmer in the sunlight. Reaching speeds of up to 70 kilometers per hour, the ostrich outruns the burning summer wind itself, becoming a living symbol of motion and endurance on the savanna. Its small wings are useless for flight, but they serve another vital purpose: balance. As it changes direction at high speed, the ostrich spreads them like sails, guiding its body with surprising grace and maintaining perfect control through strength, stamina, and momentum. As it travels across the plains, the ostrich scatters seeds far and wide, helping new life take root and keeping the grasslands alive. In this way, it earns its place as one of nature's quiet architects. Even during the dry season, when rivers shrink into cracked sand, the ostrich presses on with remarkable resilience. As night falls, the wind whispers through the grass like a warning. Predators awaken and begin to stalk, but the ostrich hesitates for no one. A few powerful strides are enough to vanish into darkness and dust, leaving behind only the echo of wind and the fleeting trace of speed. With no claws to strike and no wings to lift it skyward, the ostrich depends entirely on its legs. In them lies the proof of evolution's lesson. True power is not found in weapons, but in perfect adaptation to a world both vast and unforgiving. Slowly, the sun rises over the horizon, its first golden rays cutting through dew-covered grass and awakening the savanna after a quiet night. Darkness fades, and life returns with birdsong, rustling grass, and the steady steps of the giant. Under the harsh midday sun, heat shimmers above the land. The ostrich feeds during a rare moment of calm, unaware that within the tall grass, the sleek outline of a cheetah crouches low, ready to unleash the fastest storm the savanna has ever known. The stillness shatters. The cheetah explodes forward like lightning, and the ostrich reacts instantly. Powerful legs slice through the hot air as both surge into a decisive race. Two of the fastest creatures on Earth collide in a contest of instinct, pride, and survival. The bird's heartbeat blends with the rush of wind, dust rising beneath the unforgiving sun. The ostrich veers, wings slightly spread, fighting to escape, but on the savanna, fortune is fragile, and only the strongest endure. At last, the chase ends and silence returns to the plains. Sunlight filters through the grass, illuminating the place where nature has delivered its verdict, harsh, yet impartial. The cheetah approaches and fulfills its role. A gentle breeze slowly erases the tracks in the dust. There is no tragedy here, only the eternal rhythm of life. The ostrich falls, but the world moves on, steady as the heartbeat of the earth. When the hunter departs, the gatherers arrive hyenas, vultures, and even armies of ants. They transform what remains, returning energy to the soil. On the savanna, nothing is wasted, everything is renewed. From dry ground, green life will rise again beneath the sun, marking the beginning of another cycle where every ending becomes a new beginning, and the story of life continues to unfold. As the first group of wildebeest reaches the banks of the Mara River, tension hangs heavy in the air. The herd comes to a halt. Dozens of dark eyes stare into the murky water, sharing the same unspoken fear. Beneath the seemingly calm surface lurk Nile crocodiles, the largest in Africa and the undisputed predators of this domain. Silent shapes drift slowly below the water, nearly motionless yet filled with terrifying power. Stretching over 5 meters in length and weighing close to 700 kilograms, the Nile crocodile is a near-perfect hunting machine. Its massive jaws can crush bone in an instant, and its rows of curved, blade-sharp teeth are designed to grip prey until escape is impossible. But raw strength alone does not make the crocodile so deadly. Its greatest weapon is patience. A master of ambush, it can go long periods without feeding. One successful kill a single wildebeest is enough to sustain it for weeks. Floating just beneath the surface, with only eyes and nostrils exposed, it waits without urgency for the perfect moment to strike. On the far side of the river lies the promise of life: green grasslands, abundant water, and enough food to sustain the herd for months. Still, hesitation grips the wildebeest gathered at the shore. They scan the water for any sign of danger, fully aware of what waits below. Yet there is no alternative. To remain is to face thirst and starvation. Moving forward is the only choice. On the savannah, nothing is gained without cost. Every step demands courage. And sometimes the sacrifice of a few ensures the survival of many. At last, the leader steps forward. His movements begin cautiously, but there is no turning back. The moment he enters the river, the sound carries like an unavoidable signal. The rest follow instantly, pouring down the bank and into the water. The crossing erupts into chaos. Water splashes violently. Deep calls echo through the air, and the current sweeps away the smallest bodies. The symphony of life and death begins. Crocodiles, having waited months for this moment, spring into action. They remain still until weakness appears, then strike with explosive speed, seizing individuals isolated or overwhelmed by the current. When a crocodile locks onto its prey, the water darkens around it. Panic surges through the herd. Wildebeests struggle to evade the attacks while pushing forward. The crocodiles need no second chance. One grip is enough to end all hope. The prey thrashes and kicks, but resistance is futile. Dragged under, it vanishes into the depths. The surface calms again, but only briefly. Other crocodiles, drawn by the disturbance, move in quickly. Still, the migration does not stop. The herd presses on without looking back. On this journey, there is no time to wait. The wildebeest's greatest advantage is their number. Thousands cross the river nearly at once. The turbulence and sheer mass make it impossible for the crocodiles to catch them all. Some unfortunate individuals fall to the deadly jaws, but most manage to reach the far bank. The weakest and many calves cannot withstand the current and are left behind. This is the way of nature without judgment, without pause. A harsh, relentless, and eternal cycle, where life moves forward on the sacrifice of a few. Beneath the unforgiving sun and amid swirling clouds of dust, every creature is forced to make decisions where mistakes are not an option. Survival here depends on moving at the precise moment, reacting faster than danger, and understanding a land that offers no second chances. This is a world ruled by the wild, a realm of silent, swift warriors where the fastest hunters may dominate for a moment, but never forever. Each chase reveals bodies perfected for speed, while every failure serves as a reminder that even the deadliest predators are bound by nature's unyielding laws. The African savanna holds its mysteries in every shadow and every track erased by the wind. A land as beautiful as it is brutal, where the struggle to exist sets the timeless rhythm of life. the burning heart of the African savanna, a force rules that allows no weakness. The lion, an enduring symbol of power and authority, commands a land where life and dominance are decided in mere seconds. Here, every breath matters, and every movement can mean the difference between holding the throne or losing everything. Conflicts do not always erupt with roars. More often, they begin in silence through calculated stares, cautious steps across dry grass, and unspoken tension. Defending territory, protecting the pride, or challenging a rival demands constant risk. In this unforgiving world, power is never permanent. It must be earned and defended day after day. On the African savanna, nothing is guaranteed. Even the king can fall, beneath a sun that scorches the land and stirs clouds of dust. Each heartbeat becomes a test of survival, and every confrontation shapes the fate of those bold enough to stand and fight. This is Tsavo, one of the last strongholds for lions in East Africa. A scorched land where the ground itself seems to crack beneath the presence of apex predators. In the wild, a mane has long symbolized authority, protection, vitality, and unquestioned royalty. But in the searing heat of Tsavo, that display becomes a liability. Here, the king stands exposed, stripped of what was once his most sacred emblem. Yet nature has a way of defying expectations. In a land ruled by warriors without manes, those who were different began to stand out. They are few, but their presence commands respect. Their testosterone levels are unusually high, their immune systems remarkably strong. Conflict is inevitable. The former ruler quickly finds himself at a disadvantage. No blood has been spilled yet, but tension hangs thick in the air. From this moment on, the balance of power in Tsavo shifts dramatically. The maneless figures withdraw into the shadows. The era of crowned kings has officially begun. The path to dominance is paved with force. Coronation comes at a cost. The first test is no ordinary hunt, it is the Cape buffalo, a living fortress weighing up to 700 kilograms, armed with horns that can span nearly a meter. Known as the Black Shadow, this animal is among the most dangerous prey a lion can face, responsible for more serious injuries than any other. A lone lion has only a small chance of escaping unharmed. But when the pride hunts together, those odds improve. At the center of every confrontation are the lionesses. This is where the new king proves whether he truly deserves the throne. The scent of fresh blood is sharp and unmistakable. Red dust settles over the fallen giant, and the message carries across the land: a new ruler has arrived. No one can ignore it. But authority is not maintained by strength alone. The pride must eat. That duty falls once again to the lioness's relentless hunters, who provide for the group while the males guard the cubs and defend the territory. This time, the target is the zebra. Weighing around 300 kilograms, it offers enough nourishment for the entire pride and poses far less risk. Its striped coat creates a visual illusion, confusing predators when the herd runs together. Identifying a single target or predicting its direction becomes difficult. But once the herd scatters, the chase favors endurance and the lioness has limits. Her heart cannot sustain a long pursuit. One precise bite closes the airway, and the struggle ends in silence. After a successful feast, lions need only a day or two to digest. For these rising nobles of Tsavo, hunger is not just discomfort, it is an unacceptable weakness. Their ambition reaches toward the impossible. The Maasai giraffe, an immense giant rising up to 5 meters tall. One well-aimed kick is enough to shatter a lion's skull in seconds. But predators understand the unforgiving laws of physics. The higher the body stands, the harder it falls. The giraffe carries an extraordinary heart, weighing up to 11 kilograms. Built to force blood upward against gravity and supply the brain, this constant effort creates exceptionally high blood pressure. When the giraffe flees, its heart rate surges dangerously, pushing its body to the edge of endurance. The lions are aware of this weakness. They wait, watching for the precise moment when the giant begins to tire. The stillness breaks. That is when they strike. Claws and teeth tear at the thick hide, targeting vulnerable points where strength gives way and balance falters. In the savannah, even the tallest life can be brought down when exhaustion takes its toll. The scent of the hunt drifts through the air, summoning the scavengers of the savannah. The lion's path crosses with the warthog, its first major setback. Even when they are not seeking to assert dominance, lions often target this animal. It offers dense muscle, generous fat reserves, respectable speed, and above all, perfect adaptation to the dry landscapes of Tsavo. Active during daylight hours, the warthog shows no fear of the relentless heat. It shelters in abandoned burrows, deep tunnels that provide refuge beneath the earth. For the lionesses, these dens are like sealed containers, waiting for the precise moment to be opened. Everything depends on timing a single, accurate bite to the neck, delivered just as the prey emerges. Fate is decided at the threshold of its own home. When there is nowhere left to hide, prey is forced to flee toward the inevitable. Short legs cannot compete with the predator's lethal reach. The chase is often brief, but when the dry season stretches on, the suffocating heat exposes the true brutality of this realm. Resources begin to vanish, too. Cortisol floods the bloodstream, breaking social bonds. Now, the so-called nobles fight over the remains of an old, sick warthog. With empty stomachs, The crown becomes nothing more than a meaningless ornament, and when pride finally collapses, true humiliation is only just beginning. No longer able to resist beneath the claws, the prey turns to deception. Warthog burrows are built with multiple emergency exits, carefully concealed beneath the surface. As hunger tightens its grip on the lions, a thermal trap takes shape. Beneath the blazing sun, the warthog remains motionless, calm on the surface, waiting. Now, many of the gazes that once lowered before the king no longer do so in fear. The Nile crocodile has detected the scent of weakness. After extreme exertion, the lion's body drives him toward water to lower his temperature. At times, the river offers brief relief after a failed hunt. But hesitation is fatal. If the lioness reacts too late, the crocodile's bite, delivering nearly 22,000 newtons of force, can stain the current red. A counterattack. If the crocodile remains submerged, the lion stands almost no chance. Lions can swim, but they avoid water whenever possible. The reason is simple: their dense fur absorbs water, becoming a heavy burden that strips away speed and maneuverability. Yet even this aquatic predator observes a fragile balance. In this land, lion and crocodile are less sworn enemies than rivals bound by tolerance, not by mercy, but by mutual recognition and a primitive form of natural justice. If even a cold-blooded predator like the Nile crocodile can recognize it, the rest of the savannah will soon understand where true power lies. Not even the quiet architects of the endless plains are willing to bow to this crown. The contempt is no longer concealed. These young elephants, especially the males, are entering a phase of intense hormonal change. Their confidence and aggression are absolute. To them, lions are not worthy opponents in a direct confrontation. Yet the big cats remain a constant threat. Unable to bring down a fully grown elephant, they redirect their violence toward the next generation. The target is always the same, the weakest link, young, vulnerable, and often momentarily separated from the herd. At close range, the force of an elephant's trumpet is enough to shake the chest and completely disorient an attacker. The lion finds no clear point of entry, no opening to exploit. And now the question remains open from your perspective. Which animal poses the greatest challenge to lions during the hunt? Share your thoughts in the comments. But Tsavo is not a chessboard reserved solely for lion kings. Human perception has long burdened the spotted hyena with the reputation of a cowardly scavenger and opportunistic thief. A serious mistake. In reality, hyenas secure up to 90% of their food through hunting. Their true weapon is not brute force, but relentless endurance. With a heart disproportionately large for its body, the hyena can sustain high speeds for hours. It turns the hunt into a brutal test of exhaustion. Even a Cape buffalo can fall. The most vulnerable are always the young. A mother's desperation dissolves into the harsh, almost celebratory laughter of the pack. It is a savage world, but a functional one. And nowhere is this cruelty more evident than when the prey is a zebra. The attack begins from behind legs and hips. Jaws strike from every angle, like a storm of sharpened spears. The hyena does not wait for death before feeding. Eating fast is not cruelty, it is survival. is no mercy here, no dignified endings. To spare an enemy is to sign one's own death sentence. Yet in the endless dust of Tsavo, scarcity forces even the hyena to yield. This is when that small percentage of theft becomes relevant. The target's solitary hunters, leopards. Like lions, they drive their prey toward the mouth of a burrow. The prey's final scream becomes an invitation. The leopard relies on agility and elastic power. The hyena arrives with twice the mass and a bite capable of crushing bone. Solitude almost always loses to numbers and strength. But the leopard is not naive. It knows how to wait. Hunger sharpens patience. This time the target is an impala famous for its precision leaps and the leopard's suffocating kill. Then fate intervenes. The impala falls like an angel cast from the sky. The hunter is left empty-handed. So is the thief. Greed ruins the feast for both. The leopard has waited for this moment. Now it takes on the role of the raider. 1 second of carelessness is enough for hunger to strike back. The hyena's excessive weight condemns it to the ground. The tree becomes an unassailable fortress. Destiny changes sides except for the prey. For the cheetah, justice does not exist. To reach speeds of up to 112 kilometers per hour, it sacrificed strength and protection. After every chase, it falls into severe oxygen debt, and the hyena knows it. At any moment, the cheetah can become prey. Even with starving cubs at its side, it cannot afford to risk confrontation. Still, the hyena is rarely satisfied. Though the lion's dominance has slightly weakened, few dare to challenge them head-on. But ambition is not always born of hunger. In the darkness of a den, innocent eyes sleep without protection. Why are those cubs left defenseless? Because hyena society is ruled by an extreme and unforgiving matriarchy. Males occupy the lowest rung, wandering without purpose or authority. Females must hunt alone, recover their strength, and feed their young. That absence becomes a silent sentence. The piercing cry of spilled blood reaches the ears of the mothers. Pain ignites into a surge of raw adrenaline, plunging the old king into chaos, clumsy, overwhelmed, out of place in the sand. Help has arrived. No matter how many they are, even hyenas cannot withstand two lions standing together. Beneath the crimson dust of the setting sun, two kings remain upright, lungs burning, unmoved, as night slowly settles over Tsavo. The pride still stands, but the foundations of the throne are deeply fractured. At around 3 years of age, the young princes of Amboseli receive an unavoidable sentence: exile. To preserve the genetic strength of the species, sons must carry their lineage far from home. In time, these outcasts find one another, and Tsavo becomes the natural destination, bordering the land where their mothers were born. They know exactly who rules this territory. They advance in silence. They hide. They watch. They wait. When strength is on their side and the old ruler is reduced to a shadow of his former self, the moment finally arrives. Those who once commanded power are now bent by time. Even the lionesses tremble not for themselves, but for the small lives hidden beneath their legs. The final purge of the old dynasty begins. This is not cruelty alone, but a brutally efficient strategy. Raising cubs suppresses ovulation in lionesses for nearly 2 years. By eliminating the offspring, the male halts prolactin production and forces the female's reproductive cycle to restart within weeks. This is how selfish genes secure their survival. Soon after new cubs are born, attentive care from both males and females ushers in a rare period of calm in Tsavo. Once again, the relentless machinery of nature resumes its course. Beyond the conflict, Tsavo's native manaless lions begin to lift their heads. Fear fades with the fall of the former rulers. The future remains uncertain, filled with threats and unanswered questions, but for now, the true kings of Tsavo have reclaimed their dignity. The manless lion has always been, and will remain, the true emblem of Tsavo. In the waters of the Mara River, danger never rests. In the heart of East Africa, where the endless plains of the Serengeti merge with the Masai Mara Valley, one of the most unforgiving survival arenas on Earth unfolds. At dawn, golden light washes over rolling grasslands where countless animals move relentlessly forward, guided by ancient instincts toward fertile ground after the rains. Yet beneath this serene beauty lies a fragile reality, where every step can determine life or death. Across the vast African plains, a cloud of red dust rises beneath the hooves of tens of thousands of zebras. Year after year, they undertake one of the planet's greatest migrations, nearly 800 kilometers across Tanzania and Kenya, heading north toward the Mara River, a lethal scar cutting through the savanna. An adult zebra can reach over 2 meters in length and weigh close to 300 kilograms. Their striking black and white stripes are far more than decoration. Shaped by millions of years of evolution, the pattern helps regulate body temperature under the relentless sun, disrupts predators' visual perception, and even reduces attacks from blood-feeding insects. Each pattern is unique, allowing foals to recognize their mothers within the apparent chaos of the herd. As herbivores, zebras lack claws or fangs to defend themselves. Survival depends on speed, and the explosive power of their hind legs kicks strong enough to break a lion's bones. They travel in large social groups, typically led by a dominant male alongside several females and their offspring. This cohesion serves as their primary shield against constant threats. Lions, hyenas, wild dogs, and crocodiles shadow every stage of the journey. A mare's gestation lasts between 12 and 13 months, usually resulting in a single foal. Remarkably, within minutes of birth, the newborn can stand and follow its mother, an essential advantage in a land where danger never pauses. Even so, fewer than half of all foals survive their first year. A stark reminder of nature's severity. Like a living river of black and white, the herd presses onward, drawing closer to the north. But the most lethal challenge still lies ahead, the infamous Mara River. Beneath its murky, deceptively calm surface, danger waits in silence. The water appears still, yet massive shadows drift below. A crocodile master of ambush lurks just meters away, its cold yellow eyes barely breaking the surface. Motionless as living stone, these predators wait for the perfect instant. Then the crossing begins. Water erupts into chaos in a fraction of a second. A massive crocodile explodes upward, jaws wide. Some zebras reach the far bank, leaving behind a violent swirl of foam, blood, and sediment. But But this moment is only another routine event for the river's hunters. Beneath the surface, the colossal shadow slips back into silence, patient, waiting for the next chance. Across countless Mara crossings, few animals escape the jaws of these ancient predators. River crocodiles have existed since prehistoric times, changing little over more than 200 million years of evolution, remaining a constant threat to any herd that dares enter their domain. An adult can exceed 5 meters in length and weigh more than 700 kilograms. Its body is wrapped in thick, armor-like scales, and its golden eyes shine even in dark waters. Its jaws close with a bite force exceeding 2,000 kilograms, the most powerful in the animal kingdom, capable of crushing bone with ease. Crocodiles are ambush specialists. They can remain perfectly still for hours, floating like driftwood. But when the moment comes, every muscle fires at once, a lightning strike of teeth that seize the prey and drag it beneath the surface. Once captured, the victim is subjected to the infamous death roll, tearing flesh as the water turns red. With a slow metabolism, these reptiles can go months without feeding. Their highly developed senses allow them to see and hear while nearly fully submerged. For all these reasons, during the Great Migration, the Mara River becomes the ultimate hunting ground, an arena perfectly suited to one of nature's most formidable predators. In the Mara River, where danger never truly fades, the threat does not come solely from the crushing jaws of crocodiles. These waters belong to another giant as well, the hippopotamus, the silent ruler of Africa's rivers. From the murky current, a massive dark shape rises. Bloodshot eyes glint beneath the fading light as it watches a pride of lions cautiously approaching the riverbank. Lions reign over the land. Hippos command the water. Two kingdoms, two immense forces meeting at a fragile boundary where life and death brush against each other. The tension erupts without warning. The clash is sudden and violent, yet it leaves no clear victor. Along this brutal stretch of the Mara, one truth remains unquestioned with bone-crushing jaws and an unforgiving temperament. Hippos continue to dominate the river as its undisputed masters. Reaching nearly 4 meters in length and protected by skin up to 5 centimeters thick, hippos may appear slow and clumsy at first glance, but beneath that bulk lies extraordinary power. Their mouths can open almost 180 degrees, revealing tusks over half a meter long, capable of delivering a bite even stronger than a lion's. Despite their size, hippos can sprint on land at speeds approaching 30 kilometers per hour and remain submerged for 4 to 5 minutes with ease, a clear warning to any intruder. Unlike lions or crocodiles, they are not meat hunters. Their diet is almost entirely herbivorous, and each night they may leave the water to consume up to 40 kilograms of grass. Yet their intense aggression and fierce territorial instinct make the hippopotamus one of Africa's most dangerous animals. Any challenger, whether crocodile or lion, that dares to test its authority risks paying a heavy price. During reproduction, a female's gestation lasts about 8 months, and she typically gives birth to a single calf, often in the water itself. At birth, the calf weighs around 40 kilograms, can swim immediately, and even nurses beneath the surface. From its first moments, it is shielded within the tight defensive circle of its mother and herd, a closely bonded social structure that may include dozens of individuals. Most confrontations end with the intruder retreating, while the hippos retain control beneath the muddy waters. Still, even these formidable giants are not entirely untouchable. On rare occasions, massive crocodiles or reckless lions attempt an attack, but almost always, the target is a calf. This vulnerability marks the only crack in their seemingly absolute power. A young calf follows its mother toward the river, unaware of the rules of survival. When a colossal shadow rises from below, the water erupts in chaos. But the story does not end there. From the riverbed, the mother surges upward in explosive fury, turning the Mara into a violent storm of blood and foam. She charges straight at the crocodile. In the end, the reptile lies lifeless, drifting in the dark current. The female lifts her head, eyes blazing, standing guard. It is a scene that captures the raw force and near-sacred power of maternal instinct in the Mara River. In this river of death, strength is not born only from tusks or muscle, but from the unbreakable bond between mother and offspring. And it is this fierce devotion that transforms the seemingly calm, plant-eating hippopotamus into a force capable of defying every law of survival. And so, the story of the lion comes to an end, the undisputed symbol of power in the African savanna. A realm where dominance is never permanent and the crown must be defended every single day. Here, authority is not inherited. It is earned through blood, endurance, and split-second decisions. Every confrontation, every hunt, every roar carried by the wind is a declaration of survival. In this unforgiving land, even the king walks a fragile line. One mistake, one injury, one moment of weakness can turn the hunter into the hunted. Every breath matters. Every heartbeat determines whether the reign continues or comes to an end. The savannah does not honor titles, it recognizes only those who can adapt and endure one more day. The lion does not rule by strength alone, but by its ability to face a world where life and death are separated by a single step. And as the sun sinks beyond the African horizon, its silhouette reminds us of an eternal truth in the wild. Power is temporary, but the struggle to survive never ends. If the raw strength and beauty of the natural world inspire you, don't forget to subscribe to Beast Call Nature and join us in the next adventure as we continue to explore the secrets of nature in its purest form. Deep within the African forest, where sunlight struggles to reach the forest floor, and every sound hints at danger, one of nature's most intense rivalries unfolds. The clash between baboons and chimpanzees is more than a simple dispute over territory. It is a relentless contest for dominance, influence, and survival, in a world where intelligence and raw power collide head-on. Cries pierce the air, branches tremble, and order gives way to chaos. Baboons move forward in numbers, driven by collective strength and fearless momentum. Chimpanzees answer with precision, cooperation, and carefully measured aggression, turning each encounter into an unpredictable test of strength and strategy. There is no easy escape here, because defeat means losing status or being erased from the social order. This is the battle for the crown of the Green Kingdom, a struggle where power is never inherited, only earned. In this unforgiving arena, every moment shapes the balance of rule, deciding who stands at the center of the forest and who fades back into the shadows. The gelada is the only baboon species found in Ethiopia. Locally, they are known as the red-chested monkeys, a color that symbolizes both passion and the flame of authority. In their world, politics shapes everything. Each day brings temporary alliances, quiet negotiations, and carefully planned challenges, all unfolding beneath the open sky of the highlands. Tariq is the dominant male who has ruled the southern grasslands for 3 rainy seasons. But now, a young male named Kano, just 5 years old, is beginning to see him differently. Kano is young, fast, and in peak condition. Yet strength alone is never enough to claim leadership. To rise to power, a male must earn the favor of the females. Without their support, dominance quickly crumbles. That support is slowly slipping away from Tariq. The scars etched across his face tell the story of years of rule maintained through force. Meanwhile, Kano advances quietly, building his strategy step by step. Among geladas, every grooming session is a form of approval, and Kano gathers these signals of trust day after day. Authority based solely on violence creates only hollow obedience. Fear may enforce order instantly, but trust, once broken, rarely returns. Kano has waited a long time for this moment. A new king takes his place. But victory does not bring peace. A leader must always be ready to face threats from beyond the group. Strong, solitary males who watch patiently from the edges. The real test of power has only just begun. Zelda's gaze follows the outline of a lone male on the horizon, a sign no female can ignore. Kano realizes then that his authority is still fragile. The loyalty of the females is not symbolic. It is a matter of survival. Pregnant females in particular must be certain that the new leader can protect the future of their offspring. A female alliance begins to form. The response is clear. A single gesture, a lifted lip, and the message is delivered. Once again, Kano holds his position at the top. Yet everyone in the group understands one truth. This will not be the final confrontation. What do you think about this endless cycle of power? Do you believe Kano will one day follow the same path as a tyrant, slowly becoming another Tariq? In another forested region of Central Africa, inside Kibale National Park in the heart of Uganda, a very different story unfolds. This landscape is home to more than 1,000 chimpanzees, and is considered one of the most socially complex environments in the animal kingdom. Their communities can include hundreds of individuals, shaped by strict hierarchies, shifting alliances, and constant tension, remarkably similar to a miniature human society. Each day in the valley seems to follow an unwritten script. The Kanyantale group is the most well-known. For years, their alpha male, Koba, was both feared and respected. No one had dared challenge him for 3 consecutive years. Chimpanzees share 99% of their DNA with humans, and like us, they remember past conflicts, hold grudges, and rarely remain loyal forever. Koba's reign was nearing its end, and a new contender was quietly emerging. That contender was Makena. The Kanyantale community operates under a fission-fusion system, and when pressure builds, fractures begin to show. In the middle of this growing instability, a key figure steps into focus: Kalonzo, Koba's closest ally, who has begun to question his loyalty. Then, the entire group seems to hold its breath. For the first time in 3 years, another male steps forward and takes control. High above, among the green canopy, a group of red colobus monkeys move swiftly from branch to branch. Agile and alert, they remain unaware that the balance of power below has just shifted.
Toba hunted Colobus through sheer force. McKenna hunts with patience and calculation. This moment was exactly what he had been waiting for. The hunt ends as the sun climbs high above the treetops. But in the forests of Kibale, power always carries responsibility and danger. When Kalonzo rises to patrol the western edge of the territory, he encounters what chimpanzees fear most. The warning comes first through scent. Dry earth, sharp sweat, and broken bark. Baboons. From the high plateaus of Ethiopia to the deep forests of Central Africa, power among primates takes many forms. Yet every leader shares the same fate, written from the beginning. Authority is born from conflict and, sooner or later, ends in isolation. Which struggle for survival left the strongest impression on you? Across the African savanna, certain encounters capture the raw essence of the wild. Among them, few are as dramatic or intense as the clash between lion and buffalo. On one side stands Africa's most iconic predator, a skilled hunter positioned at the top of the food chain. On the other, a massive herbivore whose sheer strength can reverse the roles in seconds, turning hunter into hunted. The lion does not rule by strength alone, but through cooperation. Unlike most solitary big cats, lions rely on social coordination to challenge opponents of enormous size. The lionesses lead the hunt, fast, disciplined, and precise. They glide through tall grass like golden shadows, nearly invisible. Every movement is calculated, every advance part of a carefully timed sequence. Their target is clear: a Cape buffalo, a giant that can weigh more than 900 kilograms. But hunting a buffalo is nothing like taking down a zebra. It is a high-risk gamble with potentially fatal consequences. The moment the herd senses danger, the savanna transforms from a peaceful plain into a battlefield. Hooves thunder against the ground, shaking the earth itself. Instead of fleeing in panic, the buffalo respond with remarkable unity. Calves are shielded at the center, adults form a solid front, and heads lower in unison, becoming a living wall of muscle and horn. A single counterattack can change everything. A charging buffalo can hurl a full-grown lion through the air, shatter ribs, or inflict deadly injuries. Their horns are not merely defensive tools. They tell the story of survival. In mature males, the thick, hardened base of the horns, known as the boss, fuses into a near impenetrable shield. Even more unsettling is their memory. Buffalo are known to remember past threats, with documented cases of entire herds returning days later to track down and confront the same lions that once targeted them. This is not just defense, it is retaliation. For a lion, a serious injury is more than pain. It is often a death sentence. A weakened hunter cannot keep pace with the pride, cannot hunt, and ultimately cannot survive. And yet, the lions persist. Hunger leaves no room for caution. A buffalo is a prize worth the risk, capable of feeding the entire pride for days. The battle between lion and buffalo rarely produces a clear winner. More often, It ends in a brutal stalemate. Still, there are moments when patience, coordination, and timing align, allowing the feline strategy to succeed. The lion may be called king, but when facing the buffalo, even a monarch must bow to the unpredictable power of nature. Farther south, among the open woodlands of the Serengeti, a new set of rules begins to take hold. This domain is shaped not by geladas or chimpanzees, but by species that live along the fragile boundary between savanna and scrubland. This is the Serengeti Woodlands, a vital ecological transition zone in East Africa. During the rainy season, the vast plains of the Serengeti transform into a rich, vibrant green. Daytime temperatures often hover around 27 degrees Celsius, while nights cool to a more comfortable 15 degrees. The heaviest rains usually arrive between March and May, preceded by lighter, shorter showers in November and December. With water comes change. Temporary streams and shallow pools emerge across the landscape, reflecting the sky like scattered mirrors. These freshwater sources draw large numbers of herbivores seeking food, and where prey gathers, predators are never far behind, using thick vegetation and low shrubs as natural cover. In this setting, the Nile crocodile becomes one of the most mysterious hunters of the region. Heavy rains turn low-lying ground into deep pools along the Grumeti River and its tributaries. Here, the crocodile can remain hidden for weeks at a time, submerged in murky water, revealing only its eyes and nostrils, living traps poised to strike. It leaves the water mainly to hunt or to bask along sandy banks. The jaws of the Nile crocodile hold between 64 and 68 sharp, conical teeth, built not to tear flesh, but to grip with relentless force. Its bite can generate up to 22,000 newtons of pressure, enough to crush the bones of an antelope or even a wild buffalo. The infamous death roll seals the fate of its prey. Adding to its efficiency is another remarkable trait, an extraordinary ability to endure long periods without food. An adult crocodile can survive for months without eating, thanks to an extremely slow metabolism and the ability to store energy from large previous meals. This adaptation allows the crocodile to wait in silence for weeks on end, conserving energy without losing any of its deadly precision. The open woodland echoes with deep, commanding sounds. The African savanna elephant advances through the herds like a living tank, slow, deliberate, and unstoppable. Each step flattens fresh grass and low vegetation. Wet mud clings to its skin as branches snap and pathways open in its wake. Yet the African elephant never truly moves alone. Above its broad back, flashes of white drift like moving satellites. These are cattle egrets, small, pale birds that follow closely, almost like wings of the savanna. With every step the elephant takes, insects leap from the grass and the birds seize each opportunity. Even closer is the red-billed oxpecker, sharp-eyed, focused, its pointed beak inspecting every fold of skin for ticks. At times, it may even cling to open wounds to feed on blood. This is an imperfect form of symbiosis. Recent studies show that more than 70% of elephants regularly host these birds. The relationship becomes especially intense during the rainy season, when parasites multiply rapidly. The elephant's body itself is equipped with remarkable survival tools. Its massive ears play a vital role in temperature control. By lifting and spreading them, elephants redirect large amounts of blood flow, releasing heat like biological cooling fans. Their gray, deeply wrinkled skin is covered in tiny cracks that trap water and mud. As this moisture evaporates, it creates a natural cooling system that shields the animal from extreme heat. These adaptations help stabilize body temperature, but the elephant's true power lies in its trunk, an unmatched multifunctional instrument. With it, the elephant can draw in water to drink, spray itself to cool down, or dig into dry riverbeds to reach underground water. These improvised wells soon become critical sources of hydration and relief for many other species. The trunk is also a tool for communication. A lower-ranking individual may gently touch the mouth of a dominant one as a sign of respect, while a mother softly strokes her calf to calm it. During the rainy season, feeding follows a clear strategy, maximizing nutritional gain by tracking the green wave, the spread of fresh vegetation. An adult elephant can consume up to 150 kilograms of plant matter per day and drink between 180 and 230 liters of water when conditions allow. Herds prefer areas with young grass and easy access to water, which is why, during the wet season, they gather in lowlands near streams, pools, and forest edges. The rainy season also signals the start of the reproductive cycle. Females are more likely to enter estrus when food is plentiful. Males, entering a state known as must, separate from the group and travel long distances in search of receptive females, increasing the chances of mating. Field observations show that this condition occurs more frequently during the wet season in savanna populations, when environmental conditions are most favorable for reproduction. As evening falls, the herd leaves the muddy banks behind, marking the ground with deep tracks, torn bark, and fading pools of water. In the dim light, freshly sprouted grasses begin to spread, and this newly reshaped habitat will support other species in the days to come. With every step taken by African savanna elephants, the open woodland is quietly renewed. In the distance, under the calm of night, the Nile crocodile slowly emerges, allowing the web of natural interactions to continue uninterrupted. As the elephants move on, leaving open clearings, spaced canopies, and broken branches along their path, the Maasai giraffe approaches in silence. It does not need to fell trees. Its towering height alone grants access to the highest branches. At this moment, Maasai giraffes resemble living cranes, moving steadily among acacia groves heavy with new leaves. They are the tallest giraffe subspecies and the tallest land animals on Earth. An adult can reach heights of up to 5.9 meters, with the neck accounting for nearly half of that length. This anatomy allows them to browse foliage far beyond the reach of most other herbivores. During the rainy season, when acacias are rich with tender leaves, Maasai giraffes feed from the top downward. This feeding pattern helps keep tree canopies more open, allowing sunlight to reach the understory and encouraging the growth of grasses and low vegetation, an essential balance in open woodland ecosystems. Yet this great height also becomes a disadvantage when it is time to drink. To lower their heads, giraffes must spread their front legs wide or bend at the knees, placing themselves in a vulnerable position. In these moments, they become potential targets for predators such as lions and leopards. For this reason, they tend to choose wide water sources with clear visibility. They drink quickly, only a few mouthfuls, then lift their heads immediately to scan the surroundings. A distinctive social behavior during the rainy season is the formation of temporary groups known as towers. These gatherings may include individuals of different ages and sexes coming together briefly around fresh foliage or water sources. Although there is no fixed hierarchy within these groups, the benefits are clear. More watchful eyes mean reduced risk of attack. Since 2019, the Maasai giraffe has been classified as endangered by the IUCN. Over the past 3 decades, its population has declined by nearly 50%, dropping from around 70,000 individuals to approximately 32,000 remaining in the wild by 2024. The primary threats facing the Maasai giraffe include habitat loss and fragmentation, illegal hunting for meat and traditional uses of body parts, and increasing conflict with expanding human populations. High in the branches of an acacia, a subtle movement stirs the lower limbs. A vervet monkey, alert and agile, leaps from branch to branch, leaving behind sharp, broken calls that drift through the open woodland like fragmented warnings. The vervet monkey has a modest yet unmistakable appearance. Its soft, silvery gray fur contrasts with a dark face and deep, coal-bright eyes. A long tail remains perfectly balanced as it moves skillfully through the upper canopy. One distinctive feature, essential for identification, is the bluish patch on the abdomen of adult males, a visual signal used in social communication. They are true opportunists of the animal kingdom. During the rainy season, their diet becomes remarkably varied, including ripe fruits, seeds, insects, and tender leaves. Their ability to forage both in the trees and on the ground allows them to take full advantage of the fleeting resources brought by the wet season. Coordination within small groups is vital to their survival. While some individuals feed, others remain on constant lookout. At the first sign of danger, whether the outline of a leopard hidden among branches or the wing beats of an African eagle, one monkey releases a sharp alarm call. This sound not only warns the group, but also serves as a signal to other nearby species. Vervet monkeys are also capable of recognizing and producing different alarm calls depending on the type of predator approaching. They live in bands with a well-defined social structure, where dominant individuals guide movement and reinforce collective safety. The rainy season also signals a period of territorial expansion. The group ventures into new treetops and damp feeding grounds rich in food but filled with risk, where every leap and every call can mean the difference between survival and silence. On the ground below, the black-backed jackal moves with calm precision. Its coat blends silvery gray and reddish brown, crossed by a dark stripe running along its back. Upright ears and alert eyes act like living sensors, capturing every sound that travels through the surrounding grass. Weighing between 6 and 13 kilograms, it is not a large animal, but it is exceptionally agile and intelligent. Its slim build is not a limitation. On the contrary, it allows the jackal to slip easily through low grass and dense scrub. The black-backed jackal is a clever and highly adaptable hunter, capable of hunting alone or in pairs, depending on opportunity. During the rainy season, its diet becomes especially diverse as life across the savanna flourishes. Insects stirring beneath fallen leaves, fledgling birds taking their first flights, rodents hidden in shrubs, and swift hares all become potential meals. Waterholes are frequent hunting grounds, where the jackal waits patiently for birds or small mammals drawn in to drink. When the scent of carrion from a large animal spreads through the damp air after rainfall, its senses guide it unerringly. With an exceptionally keen sense of smell, the jackal can detect a carcass from more than 2 kilometers away, ensuring that no feeding opportunity is wasted, even if only scraps remain. Black-backed jackals live in strong, long-term pairs. A male and female often remain together for life, hunting and raising their young as a coordinated team. Females typically give birth during the rainy season when food is abundant and survival rates for pups are higher. During this time, the partner stays close, guarding and protecting the family. When necessary, both adults release powerful howls, sounds that serve a dual purpose, warning potential rivals and marking territorial boundaries. The black-backed jackal plays a crucial role in open savanna ecosystems. Acting as a quiet custodian, it removes carcasses and helps regulate rodent populations, reducing the spread of disease. Recent studies in East Africa show that savanna regions with healthy jackal populations experience faster decomposition of animal remains and lower numbers of scavenging insects such as flies. This process contributes significantly to ecological balance and the natural sanitation of the environment. Once again, attention shifts upward. No longer searching for the quick movements of monkeys, but for a tiny point of intense color against the sky.
Beneath the humid air left behind by the rain, the lilac-breasted roller glides through the sky like a living fragment of a rainbow. Its feathers blend shades of lilac, green, and blue, highlighted by a soft pink wash across the chest. Measuring only about 36 centimeters in length, its flight is unmistakable. In the air, it performs spectacular acrobatics, rolls, dives, and precise maneuvers that serve a dual purpose: improving hunting efficiency and acting as a visual display during the breeding season, which often coincides with the rains.
Rainfall awakens the insects. They emerge from their shelters, hide beneath leaves, or leap through damp grass. This is the roller's moment. From a low perch, it launches in a perfectly timed strike, snatching grasshoppers or beetles disturbed by the storm. This species does not form large flocks. It usually lives in pairs, occupying small territories that may include clusters of tall trees and open grassy clearings. Within this space, they hunt, keep watch, and defend their domain with a harsh yet powerful call, a vocal declaration that claims the sky as their own. And so, another chapter of African wildlife comes to an end, where the clash between baboons and chimpanzees reveals a hard truth. Survival is not determined by strength alone, but by intelligence, unity, and the ability to adapt in a world that offers no second chances. In these struggles, it is not only territory or dominance at stake, but the very right to exist in an unforgiving environment. Beyond this single conflict, the savanna, the jungle, and the forests of Africa pulse with countless similar stories. Every species, hunter or hunted, lives by the same ancient law. Move forward, endure, and fight for one more day. Here, danger never sleeps, and life pushes on through scarcity, rivalry, and the tense silence that precedes every encounter. Wild Africa is both harsh and breathtaking. Its severity preserves a natural balance that has endured for millennia. Reminding us that every creature plays an essential role in this intricate web of life. When one falls, another rises. When one struggles, all sustain the rhythm of nature. On this untamed continent, survival is not a privilege, it is a daily conquest.
This is some birds, the alligator.
And as the sun sets over the red earth, we understand that these moments are not merely scenes of conflict, but powerful testimonies of resilience, instinct, and the unbreakable will to live in one of the most extreme environments on Earth. If this story moved you, if it deepened your respect for the beauty and brutality of the wild, we invite you to like the video and subscribe to Beast Call Nature.